Hi, this is Rebecca Sutton with Resilient Women Club. I help women with mental health issues find strength and confidence to pursue their dreams. I have with me today Jenny Hale, a visibility and marketing consultant. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. You seem like
Good.
you're in a good mood.
Got to wake up early and have that energy going.
Right, right. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Jenny. I'm a visibility marketing consultant, and I work with cause advocacy and for a bigger purpose type entrepreneurs in the online service-based business industry to help them really build visibility and marketing efforts that magnify their message. And often my clients are people who are trauma survivors, they are trauma coaches, they are domestic violence survivors, they are mindset coaches, personal development experts, or spiritual women, providing some element of mental and physical transformation of some kind. And I work in this particular community just because it is my passion and it is my purpose. And it's the world I was introduced to after I became a domestic violence survivor, and I had to go through some really deep interpersonal work in order to run successful businesses and find my purpose in life and accomplish my dreams and chase my dreams and work through a lot of the fear and anxiety and self-sabotage and mindset blocks that I had that were stopping me from doing those things. And that's really where I fell into the work I do, and I do it from the marketing side. So I teach entrepreneurs how to market those types of businesses
Hmm.
so that they can better relate to their target audience, that they can, start building programs that really help people and change people's lives. And the work that I do, I specialize in working with newer entrepreneurs to help them build the foundation to be able to do that. But I also work with a lot of advocates and people who already have a platform and they want to build their message to higher and higher levels. And one of my favorite things that I've done in the last year or so as a domestic violence survivor is use the platform that I have to raise awareness as well. And so for October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month last year, I ran an international campaign with over a dozen women involved where we
Great.
used a hashtag to raise awareness on healing after domestic violence. And we were able to touch a lot of survivors and build a community of safety. And there's a lot of stigmas out there, and there's a lot of you know, a fear of afraid to talk openly about it. And what we did was we created a really tight knit small community where they had the safety to come in and get the resources and help to heal so that they could move forward and accomplish their dreams too. And that's why I love the work I do.
It does sound like you love it. It's a wonderful area, and I love that you've chosen your passion to really ignite, and that's the central core of what I teach is find your passion and it'll get you up every morning, you
Yes,
know?
a lot of energy.
Yes. So tell me what tools did you use to overcome the fear, anxiety, and self-sabotage?
Yeah. So, mindset is a big word in the online
Mm-hmm.
space, but I had never been introduced to it. And I had run a business in the online sector, for a couple years and never had heard that word before. And once I learned what it was, I was very resistant to it because I was like, no, that's not really me. Like I'm fine. I went to therapy. Like I'm okay. And I didn't really understand the deep inner work and what that would look like to heal. And once I was ready, because that was the big thing, I had to be ready and want to do the inner work. That's the first part of it. And when I wanted to do the inner work, because I saw how much my life had gone from what it was to what it was now, and how badly I wanted to go back to myself and really heal and address the issues versus covering it up, I really embraced the mindset side of the house. And so I did a lot of different things. I did a lot of spiritual woo-woo things. I did a lot of practical things. At first, my very first thing is when I ran away from domestic violence, I went to a domestic violence shelter and received services from a shelter and got therapy and support there. I also had regular talk therapy as well. And I also worked closely with doctors. So I got that side of the house. Plus I also did a lot of inner work. So things like meditations and affirmations to rebuild my confidence, visualizations of what my future life could look like to manifest things that I desired. I did a lot of inner work with hypnosis and, inner child, deep rooted belief systems
Mhm.
that I had to uproot and reframe into more positive statements and experiences in my life and heal those wounds as well. And I did a lot of things to raise my vibe up, and that looks different for everybody because not everybody heals the same way. So I could give you like, here's exactly what I did to heal, and this is what worked, but that's not how everybody works. And I think for a long time I was looking for somebody to tell me, just tell me what to do to heal. And it doesn't really work like that. And I didn't understand that. And I was very frustrated with myself. Why am I not at this place sooner? Like,
Mhm.
why is it affecting me like this? Like, I should be over this by now, or like, I should be over this limiting belief by now. I've worked so hard on it. And that's why I say healing is a journey. I don't look
Right.
at healing as like, oh, I'm healed, I'm fixed, I'm fine. I see it as like, okay, well, I made it through this stage. Like, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so confident. And then maybe I get triggered and I'm like, ooh, now I'm going back and I have to, revisit it and
Right.
try. It's a
Right.
journey. And so all the different things that I've tried might not work for somebody else, but I've tried a lot of different things. And I probably pulled something out of each one of those that led to my
Mhm.
overall like moving forward so that I could build a successful business, so that I could follow my dreams, so that I could start seeing massive results. But I do personally believe that inner work comes before all that, because I definitely was like the strategy queen of my business and I didn't get the results I wanted. I was getting results, but they were not what I knew I was capable of. And I couldn't
Right.
understand why. Why was I not getting the results that I knew I was possible? And it wasn't until I really dug deep and addressed a lot of my mindset issues and what I had gone through and worked to heal those that I started showing up in life in a different way. And I used to hear that all the time. Oh, show up, show up, show up. Like, work through your mindset and you show up different. And I was like, what does that mean? But for me, when I finally felt that shift, I was like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
So I started showing up confident. And I thought I was confident before, but it was like next level confident. I was happy.
Right.
I wasn't, attached to an outcome anymore. I was like, it'll happen because I believe it's going to happen,
Mhm.
versus like, I'm going to figure out how to make it happen. And I'm on this hamster wheel of stress and anxiety of trying to make it work, which is why you never sell from like an anxiety driven money lack state. You have to work on that mindset first. Otherwise you don't make the money. And, I woke up a happier person. I woke up a more confident person. I showed up on sales call pretty much rejection proof. So I didn't worry if people said no. I knew that there would be more. I showed up as myself. I started getting really vulnerable. I shared my story. I connected with people. I related to people, and it was a whole shift in my life that happened, and it trickled down into everything else. You fix or heal or address these issues, and it starts to radiate through the rest of your life, your relationships, your friendships, your outlook on life, your business, your desires, your children, your family, like whatever. But it affects everything because you become a new shifted person. And that was probably the most powerful thing for me. So I tried a lot of things to get to that point, and I'm still going to continue to try a lot of things to continue moving forward because I never want to go backwards. But
Right.
but I do believe that healing was absolutely vital in and working towards healing was vital in my business and a huge part of my success.
It's very, very insightful. I appreciate your openness. So, did you do a lot of that inner healing on your own, like through self-help, or what modality did you use?
I used it all.
Found
So
everything you could.
everything I could, I ate up the personal development world like nothing else.
Okay.
And so I would hire coaches. I would hire, trauma experts. I would hire mindset coaches. I would read all the personal development books I could get my hands on. I would listen to all the trainings and participate in all the online challenges. I would hire the hypnosis therapist. I would do EFT tapping. If you've never done that before,
Mhm.
I did that. I would Google YouTube and find motivational speeches to get my vibe up in the morning. I would journal every single day. I would visualize every single day through like a meditation I would find either through like a business person that like had it as a freebie or a paid one. I had many customized ones done for me to achieve my specific goals. And I also would like Google on YouTube, like, hey, meditation for this particular like limiting belief I'm struggling with. And that was probably one of the best things I did. I would go to bed every night with a meditation. And while I was sleeping, I would play like an 8-hour affirmation track while I was
Okay.
asleep. And I woke up in a totally different mood every morning, which started my day out right. And then I would take time in the morning to really get myself in a high vibe state before I worked. And then magic started to happen because I was energetically in a different place. And
Yes.
I wasn't coming from lack or fear or sabotage. I was coming from excitement.
That's wonderful. It's a great story. It's a great, great story.
Thank you.
So how would you say all your experiences made you a resilient woman?
So I really think being resilient means that you just don't give up. And, there were many days where I was like, oh, I'm going to quit my business. I'm going to start something else. I'm going to do this, or I'm going to take this part-time job, or I'm going to go back to corporate or whatever. There were so many days where I had those thoughts because things were not going the way I wanted to go. And one of the things I remember seeing this like photo, it was kind of like a meme or a cartoon on social media at one point, and it was this guy who's digging in this hole underground, and there's a treasure chest on the other side of this giant mound of dirt, and he's digging and he's digging and he's digging, and there's like just a few inches left, and he gives up and walks away. And he was so close to the treasure chest, but he gave up just a little too soon. And
Hmm.
it's so interesting how every time I've really honestly thought like, okay, maybe I give up, like maybe I'm not meant for this, something else would happen that proved that that was the wrong decision to make. And if I had given up early, if I had, not accomplished XYZ goal, if I had not done the inner work, if I had, not hired this particular coach, I would be in a different place today.
Hmm.
And the place that I'm at now is so different than the person I was 4 months ago, 2 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. The growth when you do that inner work, it's a process, but it's amazing how fast it happens when you really are dedicated to it, when you really
Right.
are dedicated. So I didn't want to spend years in pain. I
Right.
wanted to spend years in happiness. And I felt like that was a disservice to me to not address what I knew was addressable so that I could have more years of happiness versus more years of, just trying to cover it up and like trying to
Right.
mask it over and pretending everything was okay. And so I took really intense 2 years almost to do the inner work so that I could have a bajillion years more of wonderful happiness and do more purposeful based work.
Great. Well, tell me a little bit more about your work. Do you have any good testimonies?
Yeah. So what I do is I specialize in building online virtual events. So what those are, as an umbrella term, are things like Facebook Lives that convert to multiple same-day sales, Facebook Lives that convert to multi-four-figure sales with cold leads, Facebook challenges that convert faster and at higher rates, webinars, Twitter chats, which is how I've been able to reach 30,000 people in a day, all the way up to almost 4 million people in a single day. Online summits that bring together incredible communities of collaborators, leads, and new followers, and really build events that allow people to have conversation. And that's really the difference with the type of work that I do and the types of people that I work with is we're raising awareness, we're educating people
Hmm.
on transformations. And that's a conversation where they're not easy conversations to have sometimes. And we're building communities of a safe place where people have the ability without stigma to express themselves, to ask questions, to get help, to learn from other survivors, other advocates, other experts, other mindset people. And collectively together, we're able to build a conversation in the online space to move them into the next step and the next level for them. And they get to learn from each other. So I build a lot of online virtual events, which is educational based, awareness based, and community based, so that you actually build a group of wonderful people who see you as an expert, who really see you as a position, you're positioning yourself as somebody that they can go to for support and then potentially buy from down the road, or buy from right then and there. It really just depends on what you're doing. But that is the work I do. I love building these events. They have massive results. And because we take a different mindset approach to how we build events and how we market, we're able to create more impact, more visibility, more engagement, more leads. A lot of my clients, after working with me for like a week, will get anywhere between like 50 to 800 leads overnight, because
Wow.
we get really specific and we're doing bigger work for the universe. And I love that because we're able to impact more people and change more people's lives and save people's lives. And as a trauma survivor, you know, I wake up every morning and I'm so grateful for the work I get to do to help others. And I think one of the most impactful things for me that was like, well, you know, was sharing my story the right decision? Because, you know, you're always worried, like, oh, how vulnerable do you get? It's a risk. It's scary to be
Mhm.
visible. And I've gotten multiple people in my inbox that are current domestic violence, you know, survivors, and they're currently in it. And they come to me and say, you know, I'm really inspired by the work you do. It allowed me to say, okay, I'm going to leave. And if
Wow.
it helps one person, then it's all worth it. And I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who feel the same way. Well, if one person can be impacted by my story, then that's all the motivation I need to be to keep going forward, to keep digging the shovel into the dirt, even though I might not see the results right now because I'm so close and I'm making more and more impact every day that I wake up and keep trying.
That's wonderful. You do great work. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
So, well, it's been wonderful talking to you, Jenny. And I just
Thank
thank you
you.
for coming on here and being vulnerable and sharing tidbits of your experience. And I certainly hope that you get the visibility you want out of this.
Oh, thank you.
I think you're a worthy investment.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, this is Rebecca and Jenny signing off, and we thank you for joining us. Bye bye.